This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major updates to share with you. One governor is urging lawmakers to use COVID money for $2,000 stimulus checks. We'll also go over the $400 summer stimulus checks. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer made some big announcements about lowering the price of food, lowering the price of gas, as well as a few other stimulus provisions. I'll play you those video clips. And the U.S. economy is shrinking. GDP was actually the worst it's been for a while. I'll let you know what this means for our everyday lives, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm announcing the winners for the $200 checks later on in the video. But first, after Build Back Better's collapse, Democrats still struggling with how to message the midterms. So Build Back Better collapsed multiple times, and it was a big humiliation for the Democrats. So what's next? Well, we have Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They are promising a lot of big things. They're targeting oil companies for gas price spikes, price gouging. So they're going to potentially lower gas, or at least they made some announcements to lower the price of food. They have a lot of big promises that they are promising. Also, President Biden wants to cancel or forgive student loans for federal student loan borrowers. So there's a lot of other things that Democrats are promising because the Build Back Better failed. And we're going to start to see a lot more of that coming up closer to the midterms, of Democrats either trying to get something done or big promises. Take a look at what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have to say.
Well, as the House and the Senate announce our plans to bring forward legislation to lower prices at the pump for the American people. The House and the Senate have been hard at work for weeks to address the burden. There's so many suggestions that people have, and we're starting down this path to address the rising gas prices. We call it the Putin price hike. And Putin has something to do with the war. Ukraine has something to do with supply and therefore cost. But there is an ongoing challenge to us that the American people understand very clearly, and is that big oil has profiteered in this, has exploited the marketplace. This past year, what the report is, they've made over $200 billion in profits. You talked about that on the floor of the Senate yesterday. I'm sure you will hear today. But they are hoarding the windfall while keeping prices high for people at the pump. In this time of war, at any time, there's no excuse for big oil companies to profiteer, to price gouge, or exploit families. That is why Democrats are moving forward with forceful action that will stop and hold accountable oil and gas companies for profiteering and manipulating markets. This is a top priority for all of us. The House and Senate are putting together our bills, led by Mr. Pallone in the House and Chairwoman Cantwell in the Senate. We are confident that what we pass will be signed by the president, we think, and will be strong, tough, and effective. We are laser focused on lowering costs at the pump and across the board, not just at the pump. To that end, we're continuing our conversations to lower food prices. Yesterday, the Agriculture Committee held a hearing to hold meatpacking conglomerates accountable for unfair practices that hurt ranchers and push up prices. Here's the thing. There are many aspects to this, but the price of gas and the price of oil have an impact on the price of many other things, including the price of food.
Democrats are focused like a laser on developing and passing legislation to lower costs and improve Americans' daily lives. It is our top priority, and higher gas prices is the place where Americans feel it the most. We're pushing for legislation to lower the cost of putting food on the table, keep the cost of insulin affordable, help relieve supply chain crisis, increase competition through antitrust enforcement, all areas where Congress can take action to help the American people reduce prices. But passing legislation to fight higher gas prices at the pump is at the very top of our list. The American people didn't send us here to just point fingers of blame at each other. That seems to be what our colleagues on the other side of the aisle do. They don't have any constructive suggestions. They want us to get something done. So today we're outlining just some of the ways Democrats, House and Senate, coming together, can address the pain families are feeling at the pump. Americans know that Russia's unprovoked, vicious, nasty, bitter invasion of Ukraine has contributed to higher prices at the pump. They know that COVID-related supply issues have caused shortages at a time when demand has skyrocketed. These conditions have put consumers over a barrel and make them vulnerable to market manipulation and price gouging.
What are your thoughts on what Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi said? Do you think this is just words? Do you want to see action? We've heard this maybe for the past 2 years since the pandemic has started, a lot of big promises, but maybe not all those promises have been fulfilled. Is this another time that's going to happen? Let me know your thoughts on all that down in the comments below. Next, Governor Wolf of Pennsylvania urges lawmakers to use COVID money for $2,000 stimulus checks. So said this about a week ago, and he's still saying it. He wants this money to be used for big checks. So saying this is not some grand theoretical thing. This is something that says, could we take some of this money and actually give it to Pennsylvanians $2,000. If you're a household that makes less than $80,000, you qualify for this. And it's $2,000 for what? Anything you want. So these are bold claims by the governor, or urging lawmakers for $2,000 stimulus checks. That's the biggest state stimulus check there would be if it does pass. Let me know your thoughts on this. Should other states go this big? I'm actually surprised that Pennsylvania is able to give out $2,000 checks. Other state stimulus checks, so how to spend that $400 TABR refund this summer. So this is the Colorado $400 stimulus check, which is coming this summer. So people are paying more for everyday items like gas, groceries, and rent through no fault of their own. The governor of Colorado said, Jared Polis, instead of the government sitting on money that Coloradans earned, we want to give everyone cash back as quickly and easily as possible to provide immediate relief and empower people to do what they want with their money. So another $400 check going out to Coloradoans. I think that's how you say it. But we're starting to see a lot of money rain as we're getting closer to elections coming up in November. So we're probably going to see a lot more. I'll keep you updated on what happens with that. Now, the U.S. economy not doing as good as it has been before. U.S. GDP fell at a 1.4% pace to start the year as pandemic recovery takes a hit. So not looking too good. GDP down, declines in fixed investment, consumer expenditures rose 2.7%. So a lot of things not looking too good here. And U.S. economy saw unexpectedly severe drop in the first 3 months of the year. Take a look at this video clip right here explaining more.
The red-hot American economy, gripped with soaring inflation and rising interest rates, hit today with what CNBC's Rick Santelli called a nasty report with some serious surprises. According to the Commerce Department, America's economy shrank for the first time in nearly 2 years. Gross domestic product is the broadest measure of economic activity. It declined at an annual rate of 1.4% in the first quarter of the year. It's the first negative quarter since spring of 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. It's also a sharp reversal from the 6.9% annual growth rate in the final quarter of last year. Wall Street really shrugged off the disappointing economic news. All the major indices closed solidly in the green. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ had their best day in more than a month. The White House seemed unfazed as well. Today, President Biden said he's not worried about a recession, at least not this year.
No one is predicting a recession now. Some are predicting there may be a recession in 2023.
Well, President Biden insists the economy is still headed towards the right direction. CNBC's senior economics correspondent Steve Leisman's with us. You know, few seemed overly worried about this number. Why is that, Steve?
Yes, Shep, this was a false alarm. All the things you care about in the economy that showed up in this report did well and added to growth. Even the number that's subtracted from growth, I'll get to that in a second, told you the economy remains healthy. Now, let me explain. Consumer spending grew by 2.7% in the quarter. That's after inflation, so it's a solid number. Business investment rose by 9.2%, also after inflation, and that's a terrific number. It tells you businesses are investing in new machinery for the future. Okay, so business and consumer spending did well. How did we go negative? We imported boatloads, plane loads, and railroads of stuff from abroad. Trade peeled a whopping, get this, 3.2% off of the GDP number there. So that's to say, if you take out this massive trade subtraction, and we have this oscillating back and forth because of opening and closing of ports with the pandemic, the number would have been solidly positive. In fact, these imports are probably a sign that the economy is doing well because we need overseas production to meet demand. Now, everyone is worried about that recession because of inflation and higher interest rates coming from the Fed. That may happen later this year or next. No one knows for sure. Fairly sure this was not the beginning of it. Most forecasters look at these numbers and they say, hey, we're pretty confident the next report's going to be on the positive side.
So what are your thoughts on that? Is this something to worry about? Is the economy getting so bad that our lives are going to completely change for the worse? Let me know your thoughts on all that down in the comments below. Next, I am going to announce the winners of the $200 checks right after Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I tell you the one thing that you should do. When you feel something and you don't really feel good, then be grateful what you have. Be thankful. Because the next day it might not be there. So, that's what I wanted to say. True or false? Bye.
All right, so now let's get into it. So every month or so, I like to give out $200 checks to my subscribers just to show my appreciation, because I wouldn't be anywhere I am today if it wasn't for you watching my videos, liking, commenting, subscribing, even just spending some time with me. I really appreciate that, so I want to give back. And I think $200 checks is a good idea. So it's not a gift card, no debit card, no weird digital currency. It's just a straight up check that I mail to you. You could use it for whatever you want. And a lot of people have liked it in the past, but I don't know, should I switch it up? Should I do more $100 checks or more $50 checks, or a $200 check good enough? Let me know your thoughts on that, but let's get into it. So here we go. It was this video right here. So we're gonna go to pick a winner. So all these winners are picked at random, and the comment word that you had to write was grateful. So I think it's so important, as you could tell from Bella's tips of the day, I think it's so important to have a positive mindset, because, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I just want other people to get in that mindset a little bit too. And just by writing what you're grateful for, I think that can make somewhat of a small difference, and maybe it could snowball into something else. Anyway, so you had to comment the word grateful. I'll pick the first winner. First winner is Misha Aguilar. So Misha, congratulations with grateful. For you and all the winners, I have my contact information down in the description below, and just contact me. I have to verify it's actually you, and then I'll send you that $200 check. And the next winner is Chanitha Elliott. I'm grateful for my family and friends that are struggling daily and still pushing on in this thing called life. Well said, Chanitha. Congrats on winning, and I'm glad you're grateful for the most important things in your life. And the next winner is Jeanette Lively. Grateful for my family. Congrats on winning, Jeanette. I'm grateful for my family as well. It seems to be a common theme. Anyways, those are all the winners so far for the $300 checks. I'll do this again next month. If you like this or you want me to change up the format, give me some comments down in the description below of how I could change this up, maybe serve you better. Also, any feedback would be much appreciated as well, just on everything of how I could better serve you. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here. I'll have a Wise Buys video, my latest Wise Buys video up there. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.